They gave me one of those last time. My little boy knocked it over a couple weeks ago. I'm like, oh God, don't break. Please don't break.
Okay, we'll go ahead and get started with or continue with our post-qualifying press conference here for tomorrow's Toyota Save More at 350 with our pole winner, Jamie McMurray, driver of the number 1 Cessna Chevrolet. Jamie, this is your second pole here at Sonoma, your 9th pole overall. Talk a little bit about the new qualifying format and your thoughts out there on how today went.
Yeah, I thought the qualifying format was really good. Sonoma has always been a place that you would go down the drag strip and then come out halfway down the backstretch. And whatever they put on the drag strip, everybody would always talk about it. It seemed like it made the tires greasy for the first couple of corners. So I thought it was good that we got to pull out just like we do in practice. You get gap yourself with the guys in front of you, take it pretty easy, and it was very similar to practice, which I thought was good. Sitting down there as a fan, listening to the commentator, getting to have 5 cars on the track, 6 cars on the track, I thought it was good. It made it a little more interesting. It wasn't just one guy and the guy trying to commentate about one person on the track. So I thought, that was good. It was cool how people would bump each other off. So yeah, it was good format.
Sounds great. We'll go ahead and open up for questions for Jamie. We'll start in the back with Jim.
Jim Uttershaw, Observer. This is actually a joint question with Jenna Fryer, who's upstairs.
Okay.
Back at Richmond, you mentioned this track as one of the ones that you were really looking forward to in talking about how this season has been improving. Mm-hmm. By stats only, I think your finishing average is 17.1, but you did finish second once. Why were you in particular looking forward to coming here?
Well, this has always been performance-wise a really good track for me. Qualified well here a lot. And I feel like I've raced really well here. For me, the last restarts have always got me. Whether it's someone dive bombing you in turn 7 and wiping you out. I've made a mistake on the last lap here and lost a lot of spots. So, when you look at when they have a restart at this track, guys go from the top 5 to 30th in a matter of about 20 seconds. So it can be a track that if they have a caution at the end, you can lose a lot. But I just have always looked forward to Sonoma. It's one of the funner tracks that we come to. I don't know that the road racers like this as much as they do Watkins Glen, but I really enjoy coming here. Mm-hmm.
Okay, additional questions for Jamie? Okay, we'll take one.
Hi, Jamie. Dan Rusanowski, Comcast Sportsnet. Just wanted to ask you about the Gen 6 car and the first time on this road circuit and what your feelings, the differences are, what's better, what's not.
Yeah, I expected the times to be quite a bit quicker coming here. The tire that we're on this year when we did our testing, this tire was a fair bit faster than the tire we ran last year. This car is quite a bit quicker than the car from last year. It feels better here. The slow corners aren't much different, but the faster high-speed S's, the car's got a lot more grip, feels a lot more balanced. I don't know why the times aren't any quicker. Overall, I think if we didn't do lap times, everyone would tell you that we're going quite a bit quicker. But just the track must be worn out quite a bit more than last year. So yeah, the car is really good. And when we did our testing at VIR, we ran significantly faster than we did with last year's car testing. So yeah, the car's really good. The car's been good at every track we've been to so far.
What to follow up? What wear do you think are on the tires with this car, and how do you think the strategy is going to be for number of stops?
Yeah, so I remember sitting on the pole here last time and not sleeping the whole night, worried about pitch strategy and what we were going to do. And I got to turn 1, I ran off the track, and I came out about 35th or 40th, and then it didn't matter. So honestly, my answer to you would be that I don't know, and I'm not going to worry about it. I'm going to let everyone else worry about it, and I'm just going to do what they tell me.
Additional questions for Jamie down here before we go up top? Okay, we'll take another one in the back.
Yeah, Jamie Don Langford from RaceSonoma.com. Carl talked about in his lap, I missed a few points. Marcus came in and his engine stalled. Was that lap the best that you could have possibly done?
No, when you go to oval tracks, there's a lot of times you come in and you say that is just it. That's all I had. Here, every corner there's a little bit that you can improve. And when I sat on the pole here in 2009, I think 2010. I remember when the lap was over thinking I didn't drive hard enough. I should have drove harder, and it ended up being the pole. So when my lap started today, as I was waiting on the 56 had an oil leak or something, as that car was sitting there, you run through, especially at a road course for me, I run through the lap and my shifting points and what I need to do, It's a little bit harder this year because we didn't just in practice and then get to do qualifying. You haven't been in the car until, your lap starts. So I was like, I remember that, and I'm just going to go out and take whatever this car will give me, and I'm not going to push it to the very edge, because the trying to gain the every little bit can cost you a half second if you drop a tire off or if you get loose. So I drove at about 95%, and I just kept it on the track, and I just had it all put together.
Okay, I think we got another question right here.
So 8 winners the last 8 years out here. Does that inspire you at all? Do you thinking maybe this could be your year?
Yeah, when you look at this race, it seems like every year out here somebody wins that you didn't feel like was a good road racer, and all of a sudden you're like, that guy's a good road racer because he's won. And this track has produced a lot of guys that I think historically haven't run well on road courses. Tomorrow it will be about the 9 and the 42. I think the 15 was really good in practice. But the race is long enough, and there's usually a little bit of drama at this track. So it's really about just kind of being in position. And if it's your day, it'll work out. And if it's not, there's not a lot you can do about it. But, yeah, I feel really good about our car for tomorrow. I think our pace was a 4th to 8th place car. And I think that's all you really have to have in order to put yourself in a position to win.
Any questions upstairs for Jamie?
Yes.
Reed Spencer with the NASCAR Wire Service. Jamie, do you consider yourself underrated as a road racer? And 2, what does this say about the progress that Earnhardt Ganassi Racing is making this year?
Yeah, I don't consider anything with my ability versus someone else's. It just is what it is, and certainly that is just someone's opinion. What I would tell you about our race team is I remember sitting in here a year ago with Juan when we made the announcement we were going to run the Indy Grand Am race, and we talked about everything that was going on with making our cars better, and they've just done an amazing job. Juan and I were talking about it yesterday between practices about, the cars don't necessarily feel better on the track, but the times are better in relation to everybody. I think it's just been, coming out here, I was really confident because every track we've been to, we've had really good speed and we've run really well. We haven't been able to necessarily get the finishes in the last 10% of the race, but it hasn't really been anything that we've done wrong. So feel really good about our cars and really just about any track that we go to now.
Hi, Jamie. Tom Zaleski, the Spectrum of St. George, Utah. Last time you were on the pole, you finished 37th. What do you want to do to avoid a similar fate this time? You're in the pole position, a little bit more of a target.
The last time I was on the pole, I remember not only worrying about pitch strategy, but staying up all night wanting to lead the first lap. I think Robbie Gordon was second. I knew that Robbie would be really aggressive on the start. And I believe I ran off in the first corner and came off the first corner in last. And then when I got to turn 7, they had a wreck, and I ripped the fenders off my car. So, you know what? I'm not worried about it. It's about getting through that last pit stop, hoping that your fuel mileage is good enough. This is a fuel mileage race always. So I'm not really thinking back to the last time we were on the pole. It's really just about the last few races and kind of the way it's played out.
Any additional questions upstairs?
No more questions.
Any final questions down here? Jim, 2 more final questions and we're done.
Jim Undershall, observe this kind of go back to Reed's question about Earnhardt Ganassi this year. There was a time earlier, like maybe 6 weeks ago, when you were really much higher in points, and then it seemed you leveled off a little bit. My question is kind of, do you feel like you're still, from your previous answer, you sound like it, do you feel the organization is making the forward progress as we get deeper and deeper into the season?
Yeah, absolutely. When we went to Richmond, and I think that's what you're referring to, the conversations we had there, we were running 10th with 2 laps to go, and felt really good about that because that historically hasn't been a good track for us. So a top 10 would have been great. The caution came out because of where I was pitted. We elected to stay out on the racetrack, which was ended up being a horrible decision. We went from 10th with a couple laps to go to being second on the green-white checkered to finishing 25th. Charlotte, we were running 10th and had a radiator break, and it rubbed a hole in an oil line with just, 40 laps to go. I think we ended up finishing 18th out of that, just because of the other cars that had broke. At Dover, we were running the top 10, had something fall off another car, go through the radiator. Last week, we were running I don't know, 8th or 9th, blew a right front tire with a few laps to go. So since Richmond, I run better than I did before Richmond. I just haven't finished. And I told my wife after Dover, when we got on the airplane to come home, I said, Christy, I don't believe in luck. I believe you make your own luck. But when something falls off someone else's car and it goes through your radiator, that's bad luck. When you blow a right front tire and you don't feel like you did anything wrong, that's just bad luck. So I feel like we've been really unlucky, but our cars have been really good. And I tell you that because the morale on our team, not just the one team, but the 42 team, everybody's very excited about what we have going on right now. And we feel like performance-wise, we're really good. And I think that we're better than we were in 2010 when we were able to win all the races. And if we're able to put it all together, we'll win more races this year.
And in essence, better even perhaps than you were at Richmond.
We're definitely better than what we were at Richmond. I feel good about the thing that's so good about us this year is that we have been good on super speedways, we've been good on short tracks, we've been good at road courses, we've been good at every kind of racetrack that we've been to, slick tracks with a lot of grip, and that's what we didn't have in 2010 was we were good at certain tracks and we performed extremely well at those, but I think it was the short tracks in 2010, we were terrible at them. So this year, just all around, our performance has been better.
Final question, go ahead.
With this different qualifying format, I'm wondering, did you see the car in front of you or the car behind you at all while you were out there?
I was fairly fortunate because I was the last car to go out in my group, and when I left the pits, I asked them where Marcus was. He was the first car, and they said he was just now in turn 7. So I rode around, 20 seconds off the pace to just take it easy. When I got to turn 7, they said Marcus was just now to the start-finish line. So no, I never saw a car the whole time. I think the qualifying format was a huge success. I don't know about the perspective on TV, but from the driver's perspective, that was a huge success.